Santa Claus says he does. And if you're one of the 240 million people who have visited Disneyland, then you're probably a believer too. A believer that even in our busy lives, there's always room for fantasy. Next year is going to mark the 30th anniversary of Disneyland. And Bob Brown recently visited the Magic Kingdom at a very odd hour. He had the whole place to himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland has now ended its normal operating day. We hope you've enjoyed your visit to our Magic Kingdom and that you'll be back with us again soon. Good night.
This story begins at the end of the day, when Mickey Mouse is through with work and the world's best-known silhouette quietly disappears from Disneyland. Then, a cast you will never see takes over in the darkness. It's like the spell in Cinderella, who has only until midnight to dance with a prince and say her goodbyes before the magic disintegrates.
It's midnight.
At Disneyland, midnight will also bring a startling transformation.
Oh, no, wait.
Instead of Disney's familiar characters, these men are now roaming the 76-acre park a few steps from the area known as Tomorrowland, adding an ominous look to the streets. Except for the lights that still twinkle in the background, they are engulfed in clouds in this now deserted park because they're doing more than just sweeping the streets. They are steam cleaning them, blasting away even the last stubborn bits of the day's chewing gum as the overnight work begins. A few more minutes past the stroke of midnight, you may find Jerry Harper making his way through a strange maze of ice blue tunnels and passages inside what by day is one of the park's most popular attractions, the Matterhorn, a 10-story high replica of the 14,000-foot mountain in the Alps. You ride inside this Matterhorn's caves on roller coaster tracks. Harper inspects them each night, inch by inch, for safety. There are also 175 brakes to check.
We don't get to see the public as much working graveyard, but on Friday nights and Saturday nights when the park is open, and we can see the guests as they're getting in the sleds and stuff, and they're happy. You know, they see that smile on their face going ear to ear. You don't find that kind of atmosphere in all jobs, you know. This is Disneyland.
Harper is a former longshoreman who says he never went to a Disney film when he was growing up. But even he seems involved in more than just the mechanics of the graveyard shift, in the feeling that you are sometime crossing the plane between reality and imagination.
Yo-ho, a pirate's life for me.
This was the next stop on our tour. It's 2 a.m. and in a Caribbean village that spectators will move through by boat during the day, a village taken over by pirates, there are now sights that look as much as if they came from a Hitchcock film as from Disney.
Pirate's life for me.
This night is not very short.
John Kerry, Chuck Lawson, and Fred Starr are performing a kind of surgery on one of the pirates who, like all the others in this village, is really an audio-animatronic figure. With oil and air pumped through them, these figures can simulate remarkably lifelike movements that are synchronized to a pre-recorded soundtrack.
Well, there's the feedback to the mouth.
But they're tricky to fix. The ride won't open the next day if even one of the characters isn't working right.
Wait a minute.
And there's another kind of pressure in this pirate village at 2 in the morning.
We've had people who think it's great fun to walk up behind you while you're working. Hi, how you doing? By this time, you're peeling yourself off the ceiling.
In the meantime, the wardrobe department is also flying around the park. These costumers work to repair embarrassments such as underarm oil leaks. More than 60% of the wardrobes in use at Disneyland are for audio animatronic actors, not for human beings. When you surface again, now halfway through the overnight shift, in the turn-of-the-century Main Street section of the park, you are reminded that all this is happening because of Walt Disney's obsession with planning and detail, and the way he applied it to creating settings that would make you feel almost as if you were walking into a frame of one of his films. That's why Disneyland was unique from the beginning. By this time of the morning, the cleaners have left the streets so pristine that it seems, as it will seem to thousands of visitors later, as if no one before you had ever walked on them. Then comes Jeff Willis. He is one of 48 full-time electricians at the park. The people who count things tell us there are 11,000 rim lights outlining the buildings on Main Street alone. Workers try to replace each light before it burns out. So it may be the Magic Kingdom by day, but that is largely because someone remembered to keep track of when the bulbs were last changed. The park's maintenance budget is $30 million a year to cover the smallest details as well as the largest.
My biggest problem here is trying to keep the sleigh bells from bumping into each other.
Just before the Christmas season began, one of the most intriguing of all the overnight jobs was being performed in a section of the park known as Bear Country. Here, you could find Mike Sprout or Dave Fighton staring after a 16-hour shift at 4 a.m. into the limpid eyes of audio animatronic bears that were acting out a Christmas program Dave and Mike designed and wrote and produced. But the bears had to be programmed. You push a button, you move an elbow or an eye.
Do these machines become real to you?
It's real eerie when you start dreaming about them. I don't dream as bad as Mike does. He sees them bears in his sleep all the time, it seems.
Do you dream of bears, or these are chasing you?
Oh, they've chased me at various times, yeah, with all sorts of instruments and things. And it's hard to leave them when you go to sleep if you've been with them for 16 or 18 hours straight. They become more real than they should, I think.
Do you speak to them, or?
I try not to, especially when people are around. I think it looks good.
Yeah, it's getting there. They're looking alive. We'll have them walking off stage pretty soon here.
Ding, 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 ding,
Each split-second movement in this 15-minute show had to be programmed to the soundtrack, movement by movement, bear by bear. And it has taken 6 weeks just to animate that quarter hour. The planning took a year. By dawn, when the rest of the civilized world is waking up to early traffic reports,
oh my hero biscuits! I'm late!
the rush hour here is geared towards making a 10 a.m. deadline for a party of, say, 10,000.
What could a rabbit possibly be late for? Sir, wait! My, what a peculiar place to have a party.
And if there is difficulty separating what's real from what isn't when the park opens at 10 a.m., it's more than just the presence of a holiday frame of mind. In all, there were 275 workers on the graveyard shift whose job was to disappear and leave the illusions behind.
What a great job they do. It's true, you always do feel at Disneyland that you're the first one to step foot.
That's right. You know, there are a lot of theories about what people are seeking in entertainment, but Walt Disney believed that one of the main things they were looking for was reassurance.
Aha.
And in a world where you're constantly being reminded that you can't go home again, it's very reassuring to have a place that you can go where you're 30 that looks the same as it did when you were 5.
And if we want to drive people crazy, especially the older ones, should we ask them right now if they can name all 7 dwarfs?
No, don't do that to me. I can never get more than 6.
Happy holidays to you.
Merry Christmas.